What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stand Tall. It's November 17th. Let's dive right into chapter 3 of The Art of War, verse 6. Therefore, the skillful leader subdues the enemy's troops without any fighting. He captures their cities without laying siege. He overthrows their kingdom without any lengthy operations in the field. 7, just in case we did 6 yesterday. Life's getting busy. I'm having a hard time keeping up. With his forces intact, he will dispute the mastery of the empire, and thus, without losing a man, his triumph will be complete. This is the method of attacking by stratagem. Strategy is important. You do have to think things through. You can't really just shoot from the hip all the time. I know a lot of people do. I have a client right now that we're trying to come up with a plan for wiring their house, and they're just, telling me all this stuff they want, and it's all in her own admission, shooting from the hip. And there's nothing wrong with that in many cases, especially if it's, if you're leading the helm and you're prepared for the outcomes. But there's a lot of questions that needed to be answered, because wiring up a house does include a lot of variables, depending on what you want. So let's go over to the alternate translation to get some different viewpoints on what Sun Tzu is saying. Master Sun says, therefore, one who is good at martial arts overcomes other forces without battle, conquers other cities without siege, destroys nations without taking a long time. Li Kuan says, use tactics to overcome opponents by dispiriting them rather than by battling with them. Take their cities by strategy, destroy their countries artfully, do not die in protracted warfare. Mei Yaochen says, battle means hurting people, siege means destroying things. Hou Yongqi says, this means attacking at the planning and alliances so as to not come to the point of actually doing battle. This is why classical martial arts say the best of strategies does not fight. One who is good at laying siege does not lay siege with an army, but uses strategy to thwart the opponents, causing them to overcome themselves and destroy themselves, rather than taking them by long and troublesome campaign. And Zheng Yu says, a skillful martialist ruins plans, spoils relations, cuts off supplies, or blocks the way, and hence can overcome people without fighting. One way that a city can be taken is to attack a place they will be sure to want to save, so as to draw the enemy out of the city stronghold to come to their rescue, and then take it by sneak attack. Dumu says that when the enemy is in a condition that you can take advantage of it, do not lose the opportunity to crush them if they were to dry rot, and then it will not take long. Zheng Yu is very much a strategist with what he is saying, because he's talking even further of like drawing them out and then take the city by sneak attack. So it's very interesting to see his perspective on the situation. It's almost as if it was a manipulation of if we were to relate this to our personal life, of we get on somebody's good side, and the whole time our intention was to take advantage of that. And while this might be good in warfare in certain ways, it's often not the best strategy in life, because as we've known from other readings, alliances are very important. Not everybody's an enemy. So let's continue, since we read those two verses. Master Sun says that it is imperative to contest all factions for complete victory, so the army is not garrisoned and the profit can be totaled. This is the law of strategic siege. Wow, that sounds a lot different than the other one. And then Cao says that you do not fight with your enemy, but you do win completely, establishing victory everywhere, not garrisoning armies and bloodying blades. Mei Yaochen says that complete victory is when the army does not fight, the city is not besieged, the destruction does not go on long, but in each case the enemy is overcome by strategy. This is called strategic siege. In this way, you do not dull your army and your profit is naturally complete. Zhang Yu says that if you do not fight, your soldiers will not be wounded. If you do not lay siege, your strength will not be exhausted. If you do not continue long, your resources will not be used up. This is how you establish yourself completely victorious over the world. Thereby, there are none of the ills associated with garrisons and violence, and there are the benefits of a prosperous country and a strong army. This is the good general's art of strategic siege. So, strategy is very important. Why? Because if we can strategize in such a way that we don't lift a finger, that we don't harm our troops, that we don't put people in harm's way, that is when we're winning. And that's probably one of the reasons I've been so hard on myself lately, is I feel like I'm not, but I'm getting feedback from homeowners and clients, and the feedback is very good, even though I feel like I'm failing. But I guess such is the personality of someone who runs two LLCs. If I wasn't as hard on myself, then you know where would I be? November 17th from the Daily Stoic by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. November 17th, entitled Judge Not Lest, dot, dot, dot. When philosophy is wielded with arrogance and stubbornly, it is used to cause the ruin for many. Let philosophy scrape off your faults rather than be a way to rail against the faults of others. It's all about you being honest with yourself. You do not get to take the moral high ground just because we're studying this philosophy and we think this and that. And it's a very easy trap to fall into, a lot of us will admit. This one is from Seneca Moral Letters 103.4b to 5a. Remember the proper direction of philosophy. Of all the things we're doing here is focused inward, to make ourselves better and to leave other people to the task for themselves and their own journey. Our faults are in our control, and so we turn to philosophy to help scrape them off like barnacles from the hull of a ship. Other people's faults, not so much. That is for them to do. Leave other people to their faults. Nothing in Stoic philosophy empowers you to judge them, only to accept them, especially when we have so many faults of our own. So I think that's a very good antithesis to laying siege by using strategy, because if you're really a good general, then you're inward thinking about your own faults, and you're not going to lay siege and judge other people. You're not going to go through all that effort and expend all that energy. You're going to focus inward on being such a strong army that you don't have to lift a finger, that they just are in awe and say, we don't want you to attack. We cede. And so in a sense, we need to be the same strength within ourselves of, we're not going to judge other people for their faults. We're not going to just lay siege emotionally. We're going to focus inward on bettering ourselves and becoming the best army, right? The best person that we can be. And in doing so, that's how we stand tall.